Most confidence you see is theater, a carefully rehearsed performance. Every morning, people put on a costume, a smile they don't feel, certainty they don't have, strength they only pretend to own. And the strangest part, almost everyone is acting. Even the ones who look the most confident. You smile when you're angry. You nod when you disagree. You laugh when nothing is funny. Not because you want to, because you were trained to. Society rewards the mask, not the man beneath it. Look around any room. The loudest voice, the biggest laugh, the person who dominates attention. People call that confidence. But Machiavelli would disagree. That is not power. That is hunger. Most people are not confident. They are anxious. Anxious to be liked. Anxious to be approved. Anxious to survive the judgment of the room. Their confidence is just anxiety wearing expensive clothes. True confidence is something very... It is quiet. It does not beg. It does not perform. It does not chase approval. It simply exists. And that terrifies people, because the moment you stop performing, you expose the lie. Not their lie, your lie. The actor inside you who has been running the show. Tonight, we begin to kill him. Machiavelli noticed something most people never see. There is a difference between appearing powerful and being powerful. Most people invest their entire lives in appearance. The walls look strong, but inside, the castle is empty. Think about your own life. How much energy goes into the performance, looking confident, sounding intelligent, trying to impress, trying not to look stupid, trying not to be rejected. While the real foundation is starving, the mask is seductive, because it works. For a while, people applaud the mask. They reward the mask. They promote the mask. But the longer you wear it, the weaker the real you becomes. Your mind becomes a surveillance system, watching yourself, monitoring every movement, every word, every facial expression. Did I say that right? Do they respect me? Do I look awkward? This is not confidence. This is hypervigilance. A predator does not ask what the deer thinks. A lion does not rehearse before the hunt. It does not check how it looks. It simply exists as what it is. Here is the brutal truth. You fake confidence because you believe the real you is not enough. And that belief is the real prison. Until you destroy it, you will always need the mask. Most people will keep the mask. It is safer, more comfortable. But a few people decide something different. They decide to live without it. If that thought resonates with you, write one word below. Awake. Just a signal. A quiet sign that you see the game now. Most people never speak their mind. Not because they have no thoughts, because they are afraid of the moment that follows. The silence, the eyes turning toward them, the tension in the room. That moment is where fake confidence dies. The fake version of you does something predictable. He nods. He agrees. He smiles politely. And later, he resents himself. Because deep down, he knows he betrayed his own mind. The real version of you does something different. He speaks, not loudly, not aggressively, just calmly. I disagree. 3 simple words, but they carry the weight of a sovereign mind. Now comes the moment most people cannot survive. Disapproval, confusion, judgment. The room becomes quiet, and the faker inside you starts to panic. Say something. Fix it. Make them like you again. But the real you does something radical. Nothing. You sit in the tension. You allow the silence. You refuse to apologize for existing in your own mind. This is the beginning of real confidence. Not domination. Not charisma. Not clever words. Just the ability to remain whole even when the room does not agree with you. Machiavelli called this majesty. Not being loved. Being distinct. Having a center of gravity that lives inside you, not inside the opinions of the crowd. Freedom is not comfortable. In fact, real freedom is terrifying. Because the moment you stop chasing approval, something strange happens. You realize people may not like you, and many of them won't. Some will misunderstand you. Some will judge you. Some will quietly decide they preferred the mask. The polite version, the obedient version, the smaller version of you. This is where most people retreat. They rush back to the mask, back to approval, back to safety. But the rare individual does something different. He accepts the cost. Alfred Adler understood this deeply. He said something radical. All problems are interpersonal problems, and freedom begins when you are willing to be disliked. The faker is a puppet. His strings are held by opinions. His boss, his friends, his partner, his parents. If they smile, he feels alive. If they frown, he collapses. But the sovereign cuts the strings. He stops asking, do they approve? He asks a different question. Do I respect myself right now? Most people are drowning in masks, pretending, performing, begging for approval. But ideas like this can travel. They can wake people up. If this perspective changed something in you, let it travel. Pass the insight forward. Someone else out there might need to see it. Now we add steel to the philosophy. Adler gave you the freedom, but Machiavelli gave you the weapon. He called it virtù, not morality, not kindness. Virtù means capability, energy, the will to impose order on chaos. Fake confidence waits. It waits for permission. It waits for the perfect time. It waits for certainty, but certainty rarely comes. And while you wait, someone bolder moves first. Most people live like this, frozen, thinking, rethinking, calculating every outcome, trying to eliminate risk. But the world does not reward hesitation. It rewards action. Robert Greene said it perfectly. Enter action with boldness, because doubt infects execution. The moment you hesitate, you signal weakness to yourself and to the world. Real confidence is not knowing you will be right. Real confidence is knowing you will survive being wrong. Mistakes are not disasters. They are data. The faker protects perfection. The real player protects momentum. He moves, adjusts, moves again, because power belongs to the one who acts. Remember this: hesitation is the leak in your confidence. Decisiveness is the seal. Even when you are wrong, commit to the move. Because the world bows to boldness. Watch people when they are nervous. They fidget. They shift their weight. They touch their face. They speak too quickly. Their body is leaking energy, and the room can feel it. Machiavelli advised princes to keep their hands open and their eyes steady. Why? Closed hands signal defense. Shifting eyes signal fear. But stillness signals control. Think of a predator. A tiger does not tap its foot. It does not pace nervously. It does not scan the room looking for approval. It becomes still, because stillness contains power. The most confident person in the room is usually the one moving the least. Stillness creates gravity, and gravity pulls attention. Breathing is the remote control for your nervous system. When you slow your breath, you slow your mind. And when the mind slows, clarity appears. Fakers rush. They speak fast, because they believe they are stealing time. Real confidence speaks slowly, because it assumes it is worth listening to. When your body is grounded, the world's opinions lose their force. You are no longer a leaf in the wind. You become a stone in the river. Here is another paradox most people fear. We were taught to hide weakness, to look flawless, unbreakable, bulletproof. But reality works the opposite way. The man who hides everything becomes fragile. When you hide your flaws, you create shame. And shame is heavy. You spend your energy protecting the secret, protecting the image, protecting the armor, until the armor becomes a prison. The real individual does something shocking. He tells the truth. If he doesn't know, he says it. I don't know. 3 simple words. Yet most people are terrified to say them. The faker believes this is weakness, but the master knows it is power, because honesty signals something rare. You are not performing. You are not pretending. You are grounded in reality. When you admit the truth, something powerful happens. No one can use it against you. You already own it. Your flaws stop being weapons in someone else's hands. There is a famous moment in a battle. Instead of attacking, the fighter exposes himself. Every flaw, every weakness. He leaves nothing hidden. And suddenly, his opponent has no ammunition left. The faker protects secrets. The real man has none. When you hide nothing, fear disappears. And when fear disappears, you become something rare. A person who cannot be controlled. There is a part of you were taught to hide. Your anger, your ambition, your hunger for power, your selfishness, your competitiveness. Society calls this your dark side. Carl Jung called it the shadow. Most people try to bury the shadow. They pretend they are always kind, always calm, always harmless. But the shadow does not disappear. It goes underground, and it grows stronger. Imagine locking a wild animal in your basement. Every year it grows bigger, stronger, hungrier, and one day the door breaks. That explosion is what happens when people suppress themselves for too long. The real individual does something different. He opens the door. He looks the shadow in the eyes. And he says, "You belong to me." Jordan Peterson said it well. A harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a dangerous man who keeps his power under voluntary control. The nice guy hides his teeth. The integrated man knows he has them. And because he knows, he can choose when to use them. Power under control creates respect. When you integrate your shadow, something changes. You stop pretending to be harmless. You stop shrinking your ambition. You stop apologizing for your strength. And suddenly, people feel it. The weight of someone real. Confidence is not a conversation with the world. It is a conversation with yourself. The faker asks one question again and again. Do they like me? Do they respect me? Do they approve of me? Inside his mind, there is an audience. Voting, judging, scoring every move, every word, every gesture. The faker is running for office inside his own head. But the sovereign changes the question. Instead of asking, do they approve? He asks, is this true? Is this useful? Do I respect myself right now? Something powerful happens when you stop seeking votes. The audience disappears, the pressure fades, and the only voice left is your own. The faker chases outcomes. He needs the job. He needs the approval. He needs the victory. Need creates weakness, because whoever needs the outcome can be controlled. The real individual focuses on conduct. He cannot control the outcome, but he controls his behavior. He speaks his truth. He holds his frame. And if the world rejects him, he remains whole. In negotiation, the person willing to walk away has the most power. In life, the same rule applies. The moment you accept that rejection is survivable, you become free. There is a simple exercise that destroys fake confidence. 3 words. So what? What if you stumble? So what? What if they laugh? So what? What if they reject you? So what? The faker believes these moments are catastrophic, humiliating, unrecoverable. But the real individual sees something else. Data, feedback, experience. Most fear is exaggerated imagination. Your brain predicts social death. But in reality, life continues. Tomorrow arrives, and the world moves on. Imagine the worst case. You say something awkward. The room laughs. Someone rolls their eyes. For a moment it feels terrible. And then something surprising happens. Nothing else. You survive. You breathe. You continue. And slowly a realization forms. Rejection is not death. It is just a moment. The only rejection that truly matters is self-rejection. Every time you fake a laugh, you reject yourself. Every time you hide your opinion, you reject yourself. Every time you pretend you abandon your own voice, confidence returns the moment you stop rejecting yourself. Back yourself. Stand with yourself. Even when the room doesn't, because the strongest ally you will ever have is the one inside you. Look carefully at the world around you. Most people are not confident. They are performing. Performing success. Performing happiness. Performing certainty. It is a theater of masks, and the performance is exhausting, because every performance requires maintenance. You must remember the script. Maintain the image. Protect the illusion. One mistake and the mask cracks. That is why authentic confidence is so rare. Because it refuses to perform. It refuses to impress. It refuses to beg for applause. The authentic individual walks off the stage. He stops acting, stops exaggerating, stops pretending to know everything. He becomes simple, direct, real, and something strange happens. When you stop trying to impress everyone, you start attracting the right people. Because real recognizes real. And truth has weight. The crowd may shrink, but the quality rises. Fewer people, stronger alliances, less noise, more respect. Because authenticity filters the world. And this is the quiet secret few people discover. The moment you stop acting, confidence appears. Not forced, not practiced, just natural. Because nothing is left to protect. Real confidence is not a moment. It is a process, a slow construction of the self. Brick by brick, decision by decision. Every time you choose truth over approval, the structure grows stronger. Confidence is built through small acts of integrity, speaking when it would be easier to stay silent, walking away when it would be easier to stay comfortable. And yes, sometimes the structure cracks. You hesitate. You pretend. You fall back into the mask. That happens. But confidence is not perfection. It is recovery. Every time you notice the performance and stop it, you reclaim something, a small piece of your sovereignty, and those pieces begin to accumulate. One day, something changes. You enter a room, and you are no longer calculating reactions, no longer performing. You simply exist, calm, grounded, unapologetic, and the strange thing is, you did not become louder. You did not become more dramatic. You became simpler, quieter, more certain. This is the quiet power most people never reach. Not the confidence of performance, but the confidence of alignment. When your thoughts, your words, and your actions finally become one, at the end of this journey you discover something strange. Confidence was never something you had to build from nothing. It was already there, buried under fear, under performance, under years of pretending. You didn't create confidence. You uncovered it. Every mask removed revealed it. Every fear faced revealed it. Every truth spoken revealed it. Confidence was the natural state all along. The faker needed approval. The faker needed applause. But the real individual needs something else. Alignment. Thoughts, words, actions, all moving in the same direction. And when alignment appears, something changes. You walk differently. You speak differently. Not louder, not more aggressive, just certain. Because the war inside is finally over. The world notices without understanding why. Not charisma, not dominance. Something deeper. The calm gravity of a person who is no longer pretending, and maybe that is the real lesson. Confidence is not about becoming someone impressive. It is about becoming impossible to fake. This journey doesn't end here. There are deeper lessons about power, about psychology, about the hidden games people play. If this path speaks to you, stay close. Subscribe, turn on the bell, and walk with me into the next lesson.